Hi everyone, today I want to show you a bit about JavaScript Arrays. I'll be taking you through it quite in depth using this code pen, and I'll share that with you in the description. So first up, I'm just declaring an array. You'll put the square bracket and whatever objects you want inside that array. You can modify an array even if you declare it as a constant. So here I am, I'm just showing you the console output for this particular array I created, and you can see that's declared that array correctly. So you can also access by index. Index is a 0, start at 0, so the first index is 0 and the last index of this array would be the length -1, which is 2. So you can see if I log the 0 index, it gives me the item apples. So I also want to show you that you can get the length of the array. So to do that, you'll just go fruit.length, so array name.length, and they'll output the length to the console. So to add another element to the array, you'll want to do a push on the array. So if I do fruit.push, and if I log that out to the console, that you'll see that my new string has been added to the array. Cool. Another function that you can call on arrays is the pop function. So basically, I'll show you what this does here. So basically what this does is it goes and it will take the end element off the array, and it will return that value, so you can assign it to a new variable and the array is modified. Shift is pretty similar to pop, except there is a bit of a difference. So shift works from the front of the array. So when you do a shift on the array, it will return the value at the front of the array and modify the array. So you can see that it's found the element at the front of the array and removed it from the array. Unshift, as you might imagine, does pretty much the opposite of the shift function. So basically unshift, if you call that on an array, will add to the front of the array. So here I am adding a new fruit string to my array. You can see that lychee has been added to the front of the array because of the use of the unshift function. So index of is pretty useful if you're trying to find the value, the index of a value in an array. So here I am passing this apples string to the array and it returns -1. That's because it didn't find it, because I've already removed that from the array. But if I look for something that I have got in the array, such as lemon, then it'll give me the index, which is 2. So next up I'm going to show you Splice. So basically what that does is it takes an array and you call Splice on it, and you pass in an index that you want to start at, and it will return an array starting from that index and the number of elements you specify. It'll continue to the end of the array if you don't specify anything. So there you can see it starts at index 1 and returns 2 elements. Another thing which I find quite useful is copying an array using the spread operator. So that's the 3 dots. So if you go ... and then the array name and put it in the square brackets, it will basically create a copy of the array. And you can see that output to console there. You can do the same using slice and array.from, and I'm going to show you those in a second. So if I go fruit.slice, then that's going to basically create a copy of the array, and you can see that output to the console. And I can do the same thing with array.from. So if I go array.from and then pass in my fruit array, then it will create a copy of the array. You can also concatenate arrays with the concat function on array, and that will return the array concatenated with another array that you pass to the concatenate function. So there you can see my output, and that's a concatenated array. So every is quite a useful function to use if you want to figure out if every item in an array meets a certain condition or not. So basically you'll call it on the array itself, and you'll define a function. And if the you'll basically do a return on whether a certain condition is met. And if that condition is met for every item in the array, then you'll get a true returned. And if it's not met for every item in the array, you'll get false. So you can see I get true here because all my fruit are strings with a length greater than 0. But if I change that to 7, then that's not true anymore because I've got lemons, which is 6. And so I get false. So this is one that I use all the time, and it's basically filters out elements of the array that meet a certain condition. So say I want to get all fruits that start with L, then I could just go fruits.filter and pass in a function here. This function will have a condition, so if the condition is met, so then it will add that element to the array to return. So here I'm just checking if the fruit lowercase is equal to L. I want to check that the fruit starts with L, and I'll just log that to show you it in action. Okay, so that's actually outputting an empty array, so I'm just going to try and figure that one out. So I'm just adding another console log here. See what's going on. All right. Okay, so of course the I need to actually access the first character of the fruit item. So I'm just going to add an array access to the first element, so I'll get the first character. And my array is the lychee and lemon objects, which both start with L. Because I've done 2 lowercase, it picks up both the lychee and lemon, even though they've got different casing. Another useful one, which is similar to filter, is find. Basically, it does the similar thing, but once it finds an element, then it will just stop. So if I do the same thing, but with a find, then I'll just get the first fruit starting with L, and I've got the lychee, which is the first fruit starting with L, so you can see that that's working. Another really useful one, particularly in React Native and React, is map. Basically, it will map an array to another array. So basically what you do is you call .map. And you can return a new object from each item. And so each item will map to a new item. So here I'm just going to create fruit objects with an ID and a name. So I'm going to use the index of the item in the array to do that. So here I am returning my new fruit object based on the item in the array. And then I'll log that just to show you what it does. So yes, for each object in the item in the array, it will map a new item to a new array. So that's what that's done there. Useful for React if you're doing like sort of lists of things. And finally, another useful one, which you can actually pass a function to as well to give a specific sorting instruction, is the sort function. So this is just going to sort alphabetically. So you can see lychee, lemon, oranges, all sorted alphabetically. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys again soon.